The Seahawks just took a brutal defensive blow, but Mike Macdonald has opponents staring down a nightmare. They're going to reload, not rebuild. And if this defense gets healthy, the NFL may have a serious problem.
What more can you tell us, though, about the Eamon injury?
Well, this is unfortunate because obviously he had the surgery on his foot, ankle later in the offseason. And if he had had it sooner, that would have increased the chances that he could be back sooner. But he didn't. He waited for whatever reason. And now it looks like the start of the season could be in jeopardy. That's an issue for this team, as good as he is, as much as he means to that team. And we'll see how it works out here. But clearly that's going to be an issue.
Adam had to take a call there. We love it. Adam, thanks for being with us. Hawk, how concerned would you be about this defense if Eamon were to miss time on top of the other pieces that they've already lost this offseason that we just told you about to start the segment?
Yeah, Eamon is definitely a blow because of his versatility, of what he can do as a in-the-box safety. He is a slot corner, and the way that the offenses need to account for him and the way Macdonald kind of moves things around. But make no mistake about it, to me, the real key to this defense is still intact, and it's Mike Macdonald and what he does schematically. Yeah, they lost some of those names we talked about in Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe, Reek Woolen, which are great players, but I think they still have more than enough on this defense to be as good as they were a year ago because of Macdonald. Eamon will be back into the lineup. They had Neal come in the draft, Bud Clark on the back end. So I think they have some really good replacements there. And I have no doubt, again, that Macdonald will reload and not have to rebuild.
You know, I'm going to take it a step further, Hawk. I think they're going to be better. I think Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, that's the front four. That's what sets this defense up. And then you throw in Ernest Jones at middle linebacker. That front seven was as dominant as any front seven as I've seen in football. Think about it against the Patriots. They couldn't run the football whatsoever. So I get it. It's training camp. These are things you're hearing in training camp right now. Soreness, day-to-day, week one. Like, these are all things that say, you know what? Let's get healthy. Let's get ready to go. I think sooner than later, especially when the start of the season gets here, we will see Nick Eamon. And when we see him, we'll start to remind ourselves why he was such a high pick. This defense is going to be dominant. And oh, by the way, year two in this Mike Macdonald system, they're going to understand things a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's why I think they're going to be better along with that front four. I can't wait to watch them play.
But just when the defense seemed ready to answer every question, another story emerged. And this one hit far deeper than anyone expected.
Great to see everybody. Appreciate your patience. It's always a fun day getting out to Lumen, and got a lot of great work in. And tell you what, that was a great showing by the 12s with the Mariners game going at the same time, and Seafair, I think it was last weekend. So really appreciate the effort that everybody took to get out and having a lot of enthusiasm. And just really felt the love from the 12s today. So that was really great. And then in addition to that, I think we got some really good work in. Wasn't the longest practice of all time, but got some good stuff in, and we'll be ready to go next Saturday. So,
Mike, we just talked to AJ Finley. For him to, a year ago, he's getting carted off this field in this practice. For him to come away with the pick today, I just would like to see that.
Yeah, it was incredible. Incredibly happy for him. He's worked incredibly hard. He's been a great teammate the whole process. At this time last year, he was really battling for a great role. So he's put himself right back in the thick of things, and broke the team down at the end, which I thought was really cool. But I don't know, it's one of those things, like, how do you handle it as a coach? Do you bring it up? Do you not? We're thinking about it. I know AD talked to him this morning, but we were all kind of thinking about him going into this. So that was really cool.
Tony C stayed here to rehab the whole time. He said he made a point of going out to practice a couple times a week to stay involved.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? And,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what is that? What are the points in his favor when that happened?
Well, guys have the, they have the, liberty to rehab how they choose, but anytime someone chooses us, it feels great, and we have great people here to help them go through that process too. So obviously that's what we'd rather someone do and make that decision. But I think it's just there's the spirit. I mean, this is a tough situation, man. This guy's trying to carve a rollout and a career for himself, and he's and then just shows you how fragile it is, So, how do you not just be incredibly happy for the guy?
Mike, a lot of the players have name dropped Montorie Foster going into today, and then he goes out and has a couple more touchdowns. What have you seen from him up to this point in camp?
I'm seeing the same things you guys are. It's great, He's doing a great job for himself. He really is. I don't know. I don't have anything else to add except he's doing a phenomenal job. So.
For a position like that, how much of the practices maybe even more important than the preseason game, or as important because the reps in the preseason game might be limited in a crowded spot?
I don't know. I don't know if we're into weighing it. Probably not weighing it.
How do you weigh that up in aggregate? The bulk of training camp practices versus performance when the lights are on?
Yeah, I think that they're probably like independent observations, just on the situation of what's going on around with the player, where they're going. You definitely don't want to discount work because they haven't done it, immediately. You don't weigh everything like because of what happens in the last preseason game. Definitely don't do that, but you don't want people trending in the right directions and developing and things like that. I think that's important as well.
What's the benefit of doing the one-on-ones where everybody can see?
Yeah, that's a fun period. Just guys getting excited. Told the team today, this is an exercise in being us in a different environment. So trusting our training, doing the things that we know how to do, but now we layer it with being at our stadium in front of the 12s and being in front of more people, and so there's a lot of things to learn from that, which is cool.
You have practice,
not just the rookies.
Mike, we asked you the other day about the run game, and it's seen the last couple of practices there's been some good lanes being blocked, some big runs. What do you see in progress there from the run game?
I think our run game is on its way, and I actually think our run defense is getting better by the day. So I think both those things are good. So I don't see as many explosive runs as you did the last few days. It's good. Sometimes we're getting tagged off. You don't want too many explosive runs. That's not good for business. But like the way our offense is communicating and our offensive line is targeting things, working with the three levels of our offense, handling the fronts, handling the movement. I think we are. I'm really, again, like I said, I think I told Greg the other day, I'm really pleased with it. We just got to keep on grinding away at it.
The Seahawks just took a brutal defensive blow, and suddenly one injury is raising a much bigger question. Can Seattle reload fast enough to remain one of the NFL's most terrifying defenses?
Iman Warri's foot and ankle surgery came later in the offseason, and now the start of the season could be in jeopardy. That hurts because Warri isn't just another defender. His versatility allows him to play in the box, cover the slot, and move around the formation, forcing opposing offenses to constantly adjust.
But here's where the story gets interesting. Because Mike Macdonald isn't rebuilding this defense.
He's reloading it. And that's exactly why one missing piece may not be enough to break Seattle. But the replacements are about to face an enormous test. Seattle has already lost important names, including Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe, and Tariq Woolen. On paper, that sounds like the beginning of a defensive collapse. But that argument misses the biggest piece of the entire puzzle: Mike Macdonald. His system is built around movement, disguise, versatility, and creating mathematical problems for quarterbacks. The Seahawks still have Leonard Williams, Jarran Reed, DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, and Ernest Jones anchoring the front seven.
That group has the potential to be absolutely vicious.
Remember what happened against New England? The Patriots struggled to run the football against this front.
And now Seattle enters year 2 under Macdonald, which means the players aren't simply learning the system anymore.
They're starting to understand it. And if those pieces stay healthy, the argument gets even more dangerous, because Seattle may not just survive these losses, they could actually get better. Then came another statement from Seattle, and this time it came from the fans. At Lumen Field, the 12s showed up in force, despite the Mariners playing at the same time and Seafair happening just days earlier. Mike Macdonald noticed it.
He felt it. And he made one thing clear. The Seahawks are treating this environment as part of their preparation.
This wasn't simply another practice. It was an exercise in being Seattle in front of Seattle. The noise, the pressure, the expectations. That matters because this team isn't trying to quietly repeat what it did last season. It wants to raise the standard. But behind all that energy was something much more emotional. A player returning to the field after a moment that could have completely derailed his career. A year ago, this player was being carted off this same field. Now he was back. He stayed in Seattle to rehab, continued attending practices during his recovery, and refused to disappear from the team. That matters, because the NFL can destroy a player's momentum in an instant. One injury can turn a promising opportunity into months of uncertainty. One setback can make a player wonder whether the league has already moved on. But now he's back in the middle of the competition and even broke the team down afterward. That isn't just a feel-good moment. That is survival. And while that comeback story grabbed the emotion, another player was quietly making the louder football statement on the field. Robert Montori Foster has been turning heads in camp, adding multiple touchdowns and continuing to build momentum. But Macdonald's comments reveal something even more important. The Seahawks aren't judging players off one spectacular practice or one preseason game. They're watching the trend, the development, the consistency. And that same philosophy applies to the run game. Macdonald said the Seahawks' run offense is on its way, while the run defense is improving day by day. The offensive line is communicating better, identifying fronts, handling movement, and working across all three levels of the offense. That's not flashy, but that is how football teams become dangerous. And when you put that offensive progress next to a defense that could still become dominant, the Seahawks suddenly look much more dangerous than the injury headlines suggest. So yes, the Wari situation is serious. Losing his versatility would hurt. The offseason departures hurt. But writing off Seattle now could be the mistake. Because Macdonald still has the pieces to build a violent front seven, his players are entering year 2 in the system, the run game is showing progress, and the 12s are already making Lumen Field feel like a weapon again. The question isn't whether Seattle has problems. Every contender does. The question is whether Mike Macdonald can turn those problems into another defensive evolution. And if he can, the Seahawks won't be rebuilding. They'll be reloading, and the rest of the NFC may have a serious problem.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.